All right. What is up, sports bettors? Matt Moda here with OddsJam. In this video, locking in some sharp player props for Monday Night Football tonight. So I have 3 player props total that I found using a wide array of the OddsJam tools that they offer. Obviously, the Monday Night Football game between the Bears and the Patriots. Just an incredibly exciting Monday Night Football game that has an over-under below 40 points. I believe this is the 3rd or 4th primetime game that has had a over-under below 40 points, which is just disgusting. 1 went over, 1 went under. We will see what happens tonight. But regardless, for this video, I'm just locking in some player props. Of course, using OddsJam, using their positive expected value page and the OddsJam screen, which I have up here, to find these sharp player props. And let's just get started. The first one, and this was on the OddsJam positive EV page, is this Dante Pettis under 21.5 receiving yards, minus 113 at FanDuel. So let me go ahead and lock this one in. I'm just putting half of a unit on this one, which is just $50 for me. Let me add this one to my bet tracker. So a low total, a very low total. Obviously, he's a receiver for the Bears who never pass, who have a horrible passing game, passing offense, passing everything. The no vig odds that you see here is calculated to be at minus 114. This number is incredibly important because OddsJam backtested thousands of betting opportunities trying to determine what sportsbooks do the best job at pricing certain markets, and basically just trying to find out what are the sharpest sportsbooks. So they backtested all of these betting opportunities to learn what that answer was. Once they did, they removed the VIG from all of those sharp sports books to find the true line of what a market should truly be priced at, right? So this minus 114, this is the true odds. These are the fair odds of this Dante Pettis under 21.5 receiving yards. Another way I like to tell people who have a little bit more of a financial mind frame and how they think about things, just imagine that, all of the smart stock exchanges that you trust, New York Stock Exchange, whatever, price Apple stock at $300 per share. And then on some random exchange, you can get them at 280. That gap between the 280 and the 300, you're going to say, okay, well, this 280 is a very good buy because it should be priced higher than this amount. So you figure you'll have a positive return on that investment. It's the same exact thing with sports betting and calculating the true odds. No vig odds price this at minus 114. This is what the market should truly be priced at, the fair odds. We can get it at FanDuel at minus 113. So the gap between these two numbers has positive expected value associated with it. Another thing that I like to do before locking in a play, obviously I already did this research, so I locked in the bet immediately. But for those of you at home just trying to understand the best use of the product, if you click into a play, which is what I did here, it pulls up odds for where sportsbooks are pricing this play, right? We see FanDuel at minus 113, but we also see the rest of the betting markets. So MGM has it at minus 120, closer to the FanDuel line. But then we see Caesars, minus 142, DraftKings, minus 135. Underdog, you can ignore because they are a daily fantasy sports company and they have the same implied odds for every play. But BetOnline, minus 125. Pinnacle, minus 133. All of these books, and the sharpest are Pinnacle and BetOnline. And then DraftKings does a pretty good job with player props as well. They all have this bet as a more favorable outcome than the implied odds we are getting at FanDuel, which again, you can see here at minus 113 versus minus 114, no big fair odds. So this is going to be my first play, Dante Pettis under 21.5 receiving yards, minus 113 at FanDuel. As my first one. The next 2 plays I found using the OddsJam screen. So the OddsJam screen is awesome. You literally just go to oddsjam.com, you click screen, and you can pull up a bunch of different markets for what you're looking for. For me, I actually found a play on both of the quarterbacks' passing yardage prop. Number one, if you have underdog, and if you have, just in this case, just underdog. The Justin Fields under 164.5 passing yards, an awesome play. Just an awesome play. And I can show you why. Under 164.5. Look at where literally every other book prices it. Caesars 160. Thrive in Prize Picks, 2 daily fantasy companies as well, 159, 160. Pinnacle, as we all know, sharpest sportsbook in the world at 160.5. As does Fox Bet, DraftKings, Betfred, BetRivers, Caesars, BetMGM, and FanDuel. All of these sportsbooks have him going pretty decently below this 164.5, especially when you consider how low this total is for passing yards. It's a pretty good line that I think is worth locking in on underdog. If you're looking for an underdog play, I think that this one is worth it. And then, of course, I like the over at BetMGM, over 159.5. The reason why, so it's 1 yard lower. Actually, sorry, you can get better odds at Betfred at 159.5 as well. The same odds, but you can get them at minus 115. But the reason why I like it, regardless, Pinnacle prices it at 160, but they favor the over at 160.5. They favor it, pricing it at minus 123. Betfred is giving that to you at 159.5, a yard lower at minus 115. So that is a pretty good line. So it looks like Betfred changed their odds. Unfortunately, now it's at 160.5 at minus 115. So that is no longer a play, but we can still lock it in on BetMGM. So let's go do that. So here I have it. Justin Fields over 159.5, minus 120 odds. Another play that should be worth half of a unit. We will see how much they let me get, 35.47. But for those of you at home, should be a half unit play, just using the OddsJam screen to identify pricing discrepancies. And it's the exact same thing for Mac Jones and his over 213.5 passing yards. So both quarterbacks taking their over. It's the same logic though. Pinnacle prices that at 214.5 and they favor the over at this number. All of the other books price it above this number, 215, 215, 214. No other book is giving this to you at 213.5, but BetRivers is. So this is going to be another play that is worth half of a unit. Mac Jones over 213.5 passing yards. And that is going to be it for my 3 NFL player props. We found 2 plays using the OddsJam screen, completely free to line shop. When what you're doing here, you're just looking for pricing discrepancies. Like we found this insane one on underdog, his under. And we also found a good play on his over as well, just from line shopping. So it's also a good tool to use to find middle bets where you can place bets on both sides and possibly hit both. And then we found Mac Jones over 213.5 passing yards, minus 114 at BetRivers. And then the positive expected value play from the page, Dante Pettis under 21.5 receiving yards. And that is going to be it for my 3 plays for tonight. Let me know your thoughts if you're tailing, all that good stuff. But other than that, I appreciate you guys watching and have a good one.